Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 18th of March. So let's get on and look at these markets. Firstly, let's look at the news events that are due out. I'll just click onto here. Well, actually, I'm going to switch services for a moment, only because I need a quick summary of the week ahead. We've got nothing serious, big time. We've had the sort of the Monday morning data already out, so we've got nothing today. However, it all starts tomorrow. We've got the Bank of Japan meeting, tentative timing. It's often quite early in the hours of the morning there that we'll see some comments, but then we get the press conference later, 4:30ish. And I say 4:30ish because it often comes out around that time, 4:30, 5 o'clock. But whatever time it is, it's there. We've also got the Reserve Bank of Australia. I forgot about that one. Sliding in there tomorrow as well. So we've got tomorrow morning. So we've got two central banks tomorrow morning. Coming into Wednesday, we've got the FOMC, so it's the US central bank effectively. In the evening, coming into Thursday, we've got all the services and manufacturing PMI data in the morning, followed by some more in the later morning, and then the Bank of England. And then if it wasn't enough, we've got the US flash manufacturing services in the afternoon there. Friday's okay. We do, however, have Fed Powell speaking due to remarks at Fed. Okay. Well, there's still some potential more volatility into that session there. So a week of quite serious news. I think we'll see is more of the same of what we've seen recently when there's big news out. Is periods of relatively little volume, followed by the spikes and the movement with the news coming out, and then the continuation and whatever it might be. But there's plenty of those coming up this week. So let's look at where these markets are actually heading. So the euro dollar, well, you can see on Friday it barely did anything. This morning it's barely doing anything. The pivots are very pinched. We are just getting this slight bounce off its quarterly pivot. It's above its daily at the moment. It's just untradeable as it sits there for me at the moment personally. I mean, you could opt to try and catch a long off of everything there, the quarterly pivot that's happened, etc. However, it is very risky, or more risky than normal. Now the pound is showing us a lower high on the 4-hourly time frames, but again it's just really consolidation that we're seeing here. Couldn't do too much on Friday. Both the pound and the euro were looking at they might have got up to their pivot on Friday, but neither did. I left them because they were counter and the risk reward didn't really sit too well. Well, they counter short term, they're okay on the longer term. Anyway, we're sitting here now on the pound. You see how tight the pivots are pinched. Really tight old pivots today. And well, trading is potentially the same, very tight. Have you cut the grass yet? I wasn't joking. I think you might be better off doing a bit of gardening today or this week in general. US dollar yen. So the yen lost some further ground against the dollar. The dollar's been pushing up here against the yen. With all the murmurs don't seem to be doing any favours. There's a big expectation that interest rates will be increased for the by the Japanese, but there's no guarantees in this, and there's such masters of putting it off till next time. Anyway, you can see there's not a great deal going on here either. It's possibly got more movement in many of the pairs, but either way, pretty risky if you're looking to hold anything. If you can see a short-term trade, you might get some short-term trades on some of these. Sorry, the Australian dollar here came off a little bit more on Friday there, Thursday, Friday. It's coming off back towards its yearly pivot. In that case, it's really still reacting to a week before last, actually, when it ran into the quarterly pivot, and it seems to be reacting to that still. We've put lower highs in since then, and it's looking pretty damn soft here, and pretty soft and pretty choppy. Break to the downside is near the low, so I would expect more likely to run to the downside. Eventually, it's right on its pivot. Its S1's not far away. It's not worth it in terms of risk reward there. You've got to be looking for bigger targets, maybe S2s, maybe even ignore the daily pivots completely and look towards the weekly pivots. One thing I would sort of look at today here is a push up into that weekly pivot, the Australian weekly pivot there, and maybe look for a sell point coming off of that. Okay, US dollar CAD, more of the same really. Again, soft old day on Friday, very small range. It's probably done most of that range this morning, but it's coming down to its weekly pivot. This will be interesting to see what the reaction onto the weekly pivot here. If it gets a bit of a bounce off this, well, we could be on for a further move back to where it was previously there, early March. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar Friday just carried on coming down. It wasn't really a great mover once it slowed up there, but the brakes on today again. Move into the weekly pivot I'd be quite happy with, and just again looking for the short opportunities. To me, it's still got the risk of running down southbound. Okay, dollar Swissy. Okay, non-tradable really. It might be trying its best to break out the top side, but it has, I mean, chopped and chopped, and we get the odd spurt up there on the US news, and then it's back into chop zone. So not expecting too much from this at the moment, although might have further upside. Euro yen, it's moving better than some of the others because of the euro effect. We had a reasonable day Friday there, pushing up. However, with the risk of the yen, I wouldn't look to get into any swings. In fact, I'm not going to be holding a swing meeting later. I normally do on a Monday evening, but there won't be one today because it's just got so much data coming out. There's no way I'm going to take any swing trades whilst the markets are, when we've got news coming out as we have. It's just pointless because I'll be getting that straight out of them again probably. Anyway, euro yen, well, trying its best at the moment, but its best is just not good enough. Right, I will leave it there for now on the Forex pairs. Just look at gold and the equity markets. So gold consolidating, still working its way back southbound. It was still in a flaggy sort of bit of price action here. It has put lower highs in, but it's okay. It's coming off. I mean, a break of that, the high side of this is a potential at some point this week, maybe. We'll see how things develop, but there's the scope for the upside. I'm not massively bullish on it. It's into all-time highs here, isn't it? So I'm not massively expecting it to push up, but we'll see. Oil's starting, is it? No, don't fool yourself, Kim. We're still, I mean, Friday was a horrible day in terms of just chopping along, barely moving there at all on Friday. We've got a little bit of a movement since then, but it's there you go, this Friday as a whole day there, really not going anywhere. Perhaps we're going to be breaking out of this this tight old range. It's just running into its monthly R1 at this stage, so roundabouts here. So but it's looking the best it has for a while for potential upside. Again, all the Fed stuff could have a negative effect on that. S&Ps, consolidation phase, we're sitting in there now waiting for the news. I can't see this running off too much. It's gone quite ugly last week in terms of the price action there. Went up, did a double top on the 4 hours, as you can see. Reacted to that, put a lower high in. Structurally, well, we could see a breakdown of its weekly pivot here, and maybe a bit more of a correction. But it's I really wouldn't want to be selling it. The upside potential is just too strong when it goes. The Nasdaq's in a similar picture, in fact slightly weaker on the lower time frames here. Again, it's not too far away from its weekly pivot. It has put the lower highs in, and yes, we could be at a more structural. I say structural. We are certainly seeing a structural change here at the moment, but the bigger picture, I mean, the overall retracement's very thin so far. It's still above its monthly pivot, etc. Nasdaq, then Nasdaq, the DAX even. I've just looked at the Nasdaq. The DAX not doing too much here. Same old picture. If I bring it down to the 4 hourly, you just see it's just most of last week and into this week just chopping. And finally the FTSE, well that did okay, got going last week. It sort of made a new high and then fell over. And again, we're just seeing consolidation inside day after, well, potentially another inside day here. So these markets do look very low volatility, a lot of consolidation going on. I would tread very, very carefully over them all. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you later. There we go. It's got